All right, thank you everyone, and welcome back. So I found out that we are ready on the tech side of things. So I have Ozmourn here. It's running Gunbrella for you. Take it away.
Alright, hello everyone, my name is Ozmourn. You might remember me from the Manifold Garden run that just happened last night. Today I'm going to be showing a much more digestible run than that. It is Gunbrella. And so this is a wonderful indie game that came out in September of this year, much different than what I usually run. And we're going to get into some details about what the game is in the opening cutscene, but before we do that, we do have a wonderful commentator with us today, if he could introduce himself.
Hi, hello, I'm Plucky Star. I go by he, him. I am a fellow Gunbrella runner, and I've also run the creator of this game's previous game, Gato Roboto, if you're familiar with that. This is a ridiculously cool and fun and unique speed game, and I think you're all going to enjoy this. Some crazy stuff is going to happen.
Yeah, that's true. In the small amount of time that this game has been out, some amazing skips have already been found. A lot of which has skipped over half the game, and so I'm super excited to just show off what this game is all about and all the work that has been put into it by the community. So we're just gonna start here. We're going to get rid of no, not file 3. That's my completionist file. We're not going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of file 1. Erase here, yes, and then timing will begin once we start on easy mode right here. So 3, 2, 1, go. So we're playing on easy mode just because, we haven't really split categories yet. I have tested some stuff out on normal and hard, and I do think there is a case to split a category for hard mode specifically, because that is actually legitimately harder. But for just the sake of ease and brevity, we're going to be playing on easy mode for this run. And so Gunbrella is about this guy named Murray, who we're going to be playing as. And we're kind of in a John Wick situation where in this first opening cutscene of the game, our loving wife has been murdered and our child has been kidnapped. And the only thing that was left behind at the crime scene was a weapon known as a gunbrella. And so that's going to be our main method of travel for the entirety of the run, and also our main method of combat using this gunbrella. And so, Plucky, give us some more details about this game, and give us more details about what exactly the gunbrella is and how we're going to be using it throughout the run.
Yeah, so in terms of gameplay, this game is a very fast-paced platformer where we have... The Gunbrella is going to allow us tons of unique movement options, mainly 8-way dashing, which has different speeds and sort of trajectories and functionalities depending on the direction. We can also use it to glide and do some wave dash-esque maneuvers, as you might expect. We can use it to pogo off the ground. We can use it in other more unexpected ways for movement later on that may or may not be intended.
Yes.
And of course, we use the Gunbrella to blast enemies in the face with a shotgun. So
Yes.
this game's gameplay is a very unique blend of moving at high speed and shooting enemies in the face, and that's all you gotta know really for now.
Yeah, that's true. You're going to see here that I'm actually playing on keyboard and mouse for a few reasons. Number one, we just found it a bit easier with movement on glitches a lot of the time, but number two, part of the reason why playing on keyboard and mouse is a lot faster is because you can actually have spamming through text be a lot easier on keyboard and mouse. On control, you only have one button to spam through text. On keyboard and mouse, you have two. And so that's just a few benefits of playing on keyboard and mouse. While theoretically all the glitches and all the movement that we do is viable on controller, it's just a lot easier to do on keyboard and mouse. And so that's what we're going to be mainly focusing on for this run. And as you can see, as Pluggy said, more of a wave dashing type movement that we can just immediately spam and do over and over again as the run continues. Every time that you hit the floor, your dash reloads. And the shotgun that we use is the base, or the normal weapon that you have at the beginning of the game. We're going to get different types of ammo that are going to be really important throughout the run. But the shotgun is just a basic standard weapon, and the closer you are to an enemy, the more damage that the shotgun does. And that is very prevalent on higher modes, but of course on easier modes. Typically speaking, the enemies just are are killed with like one shot anyway, and so it's not really as prevalent. We're gonna grab that bandage for safekeeping. If we don't need the bandage, we can sell it for money later and use it to buy more like weapons and specific items that we're going to need. But if we do use it, that's just going to be a safety precaution in case we lose too much health from enemies. And so what exactly are we doing in this opening area? What is our purpose for being here, Fluffy?
Yeah, so we're trying to get into a later town, but we don't have a pass for the train. So we got to get a pass for the train. To get a pass for the train, we got to go into the sewer and get some rats, because there's this guy on the street who really wants rats, and he can give us a train pass if we give him some rats. So we got rats. We're going to go talk to that guy now.
Yeah, exactly. He just really likes rats.
And, yeah, after that, we'll finally be, not quite where we want to be, but we'll be closer. We'll be in a town called Orwell, where we're going to have to take on a whole entire cult. Doesn't that sound fun?
Yeah, I mean, what did you expect? This game has cult, this game has magic, this game has everything that one could possibly want from a dark or gritty adventure game like this. And so, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to see where else we get into. And we've been introduced to the Gorehounds through those little lizard type enemies. What are these enemies, Plucky?
These are like just, they're just generic little cult goons. They're not gonna be too much of a nuisance. They just have like a basic little rifle shot. However, killing them can occasionally yield us drops like giant fountains of money, or potentially more importantly, rifle rounds, which will be, if we get a lot of those before the first boss, that'll be really handy because they're really good at killing the first boss. Another thing that another thing, as I said, is money. Well, so sometimes Oz is gonna be going out of his way to get a lot of money. Because as he said, money can be exchanged for goods and services, namely other weapon types, one of which enables some very silly shenanigans.
That's true. So in these like opening areas before I fight the first boss, there are some like treasure chests that have 25 points in them each. Ideally, I should not need to grab any of them, but that purely depends on what kind of drops each enemy gives me. You know, the more drops that I get, the more stuff I can sell for later. We're getting like not that much good luck, so I might have to stop by at least one, just for good measure. But hopefully it doesn't happen. We're going to see how the enemies fare with us here. So now we're in Orwell Town. There's a lot of characters and lovely personalities here, but we don't have time to talk to any of them. We need to talk to this guy. Except this one, of course. This one does need to give us start a little sequence where this is barricaded because the mayor of Orwell has been kidnapped by the cult. And we can't go through the normal way, but instead we're going to talk to Bill from Bill's Pills here, and he's going to give us a specific code that we need to... Dark Cat theme's great, okay. We need to actually pay attention to that. Because that changes every single time you play the game. So you can't just spam through text. You need to like actually pay attention. And so that's all the other thing about this game. Well, first of all, Dark Cat looks or feels?
Themes. It was seems.
Seems. Okay, seems great. Okay, thank you. I forgot the third word. I was like, what? Thank you. Okay. So that's the other thing about spamming through text in this game, is that unfortunately this game also has specific dialogue options that you need in order to actually progress. And so you can't, a lot of the time you can't just like spam through text. You actually have to pay attention to what you're doing. Usually you can just like hover your cursor over like the part of the screen where the specific text box will pop up and choose the correct option just by spamming. But, you know, I'm not that skilled at text box yet, and so we're just going to pay attention a little bit. So the enemies are giving me decent drops, not like godlike drops, but like decent drops.
Yeah, it could be better. Like, these frogs could be dropping more eyeballs, and the turrets could be dropping more springs. Yeah,
exactly. Unfortunately, they aren't. What? Here, there you go. Dropped a little bit of money. It's fine. It's fine. This is a marathon run, so I'm going to actually be doing a little bit more like safer strats. Specifically, there are benches that you can save at, and it'll reload your health. And they only take like 2 or 3 seconds each, so it's not like that detrimental of a time loss. But just for like safety keeping, and also so that I don't have to sell any bandages. I'm going to use that whenever I can, whenever I feel like it's necessary. But here we're going to go into the Call 45 hideout, except they're just going to open the drawbridge on us, even though we could literally just like walk across it right now. Like if you just didn't stop walking, I don't know.
We have the Gunbrella. You'd think we'd be able to make it.
Yeah, exactly. So we need to talk to the merchant because he's going to give us a key that leads to a secret entrance underground. As I said, we're just going to save here for safekeeping and move on. And now we have full health again. So I forgot to mention, we went through the sewers, of course, because there was a barricade that was preventing us to the other side of town. There's also another lovely character in the sewers that we unfortunately don't really need to like pay attention to in this run. It is Seward. He's a homeless man that lives in the sewers. He's right forward here to the right side of the screen. He is arguably the best character in the game, but unfortunately he's also the slowest because if you do his plotline in like other categories, he just loses time. I'm gonna grab this this chest because I'm not getting enough drops for me to be confident in not getting it. But now we're gonna get to the Cult 45 hideout. Like, what exactly are we gonna be seeing in that hideout?
We're gonna be seeing some dangerous new enemy types and some spooky traps and shenaniganry going on. And we're also gonna be at the end fighting our first boss, which you'll see in a bit, hopefully sooner rather than later, if all goes well. But mainly it's just gonna be a lot of tight movement for this section. And killing enemies and the stuff you'd expect from a run like this.
Yes. All right, now we're officially in the Call 45 hideout again, now that we've gone through the secret entrance. And we're going to be talking to the mayor. He's going to give us a key that he stole in order to go unlock other cells. And we get introduced to another enemy type known as like sorcerers. The sorcerers, this guy right here, they're like really annoying on easy mode. They're really like easy to kill. However, you also kind of want to kill them. They're the only enemies that if you don't go out of your way to kill them, they can actually be really inconvenient to you, because the energy balls that they throw at you home in on you, and so that's just going to be really annoying if you don't have to deal with them. But at some if you pass them, it gets to a point. Oh my god, I did the wrong.
Oh no, the wrong book.
The wrong book. It's that book. Thank goodness. At some point, if you pass the sorcerers after not interacting with them, you just have to commit and keep going and just make sure that their attacks don't hit you. It's gonna waste too much time to go back for them, which is why once you pass them, you really want to just deal with them right off the spot. It's just too much trouble.
That normally would have been a puzzle. Yeah. Normally would have been a puzzle, but the solution's the same every time. By the way, that blonde-hair character over there, that's Goldenrod. Get very attached to her for no particular reason. Yes. You just saw her for 2 seconds, but I hope you are very attached to this person. For no particular reason at all. Nothing bad will ever happen to Goldenrod. Okay. These enemies are not giving me good drops right now. None of them gave me any drop except for that last sword where they gave me 2 points, but even that's not great. Come on. Oh, coin fountain!
Ask and you shall receive. My goodness.
Big money.
Exactly. And in this next room, one mechanic that I neglected to mention earlier, but that we did kind of get introduced to was forced combat. Whenever doors are locked and that have golden locks on them, and you hear the really upbeat combat. More money, my goodness! More money! Oh, it's beautiful. I've never seen something so marvelous before.
Never before has the color yellow been so beautiful to my eyes,
right?
Except maybe Goldenrod, who we are very attached to right now.
There's Goldenrod again. She's a lovely character. I really hope that y'all are attached to her right now. We're gonna go through this spike maze right here, and we're gonna kill this guy. And we're gonna grab one grenade. We're about to go to the first boss here. Unfortunately, we did not get any rifle rounds, which means that we cannot do the quick kill on this boss. We're just gonna, the regular way of killing him in the speedrun is actually still pretty quick, but still, it's much faster with rifle rounds. But now that we're getting into the first boss, I'm gonna let Plucky explain what exactly the first boss is. Well, first we have to kill these guys, but then you can explain what the first boss is exactly.
These guys are...
he is.
Just threw the grenade that he picked up earlier to do a bunch of damage right at the start. But now the rest of the fight's going to be about chasing down and pumping as much shotgun shells into the baby as possible.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh.
Yeah. So thankfully,
it is still running.
Usually when baby is attacking you, like he just like whenever you shoot him, he goes the opposite direction of wherever you shot him, no matter how like fast he's getting towards you. So that should be pretty easy to handle. This attack is like annoying because you just have to wait for him to get to either side of the screen before you can kill him. And so that even right there, even just with the shotgun, you saw that was pretty quick. With the wraparounds, that would have been like he would have been dead in like seconds. So that's the baby fight done. We did get hit twice, but that's perfectly fine because the way out shouldn't be too terribly difficult. But now we're going to be with Goldenrod here, and I hope you're attached because nothing bad's gonna happen to her.
Oh no! What a shame!
What a shame! Who could have seen that coming? Certainly not me. Actually, it is a really jaw-dropping moment when you first play the game. It's like traumatizing, really.
We might have just ruined that.
My goodness. So all of these enemies right here are wraiths. You cannot kill them, at least not in this part of the game. You do get a specific weapon later in the game that you can kill them with, but that weapon is not necessary in this speedrun. You never need to get it, and so we're just not going to. You can shoot them, and like they will they'll like get destroyed for like a little bit, but then they'll regenerate and then just come back. You cannot truly kill them until later in the game. But now we are with our mayor. We have freed him, and now we're just gonna go talk to him so we can go back over to Allendale. And I would say that right now is the first time that Kasaki could say a few words, announce a few things if they'd like.
Sure thing. All right. Well, if you're watching this event and you want to get involved in the next one, be on the lookout for news about No Glitches Allowed 11. This event is dedicated to speedruns with very few glitches or without glitches entirely. If you want to get involved, if you want to find out more, just make sure to join our Discord and follow us on Twitter to get updates about that future event.
Are we going somewhere? Yes, we're going over to Allendale. So Allendale is a pretty important part of the speedrun, despite the fact that it's the area that we spend the least amount of time in.
In a normal run of this game, like a casual run of this game, you would be spending a lot of time in the general Allendale area, but we can skip pretty much all of it in the any % run.
Yeah,
the reasons you're about to find out.
Exactly. Allendale is in the game casually. Allendale is actually where a lot of really important things happen. In the speedrun, Allendale is purely used as a world that transitions us from one part of the speedrun to the next. There is nothing important that happens in Allendale aside from like us going to the shop and getting things, or just moving from one area to the next. And in this specific instance, we're going to be going to the shop and we're going to be getting a lot of saw blades specifically as another weapon for our Gunbrella. And so this is Super Bill's Pills. This is a different build from the first Bill's Pills, don't worry. And so we're going to sell everything that we have. And just for safekeeping, I am going to take one bandage and we're just going to fill up on saw blades. We're going to carry it to the max.
Saw blades are really good. And for none of the reasons that a saw blade should be good.
Yeah. They're not. I mean, they can be used as a weapon, although they're not really used as a weapon in the speedrun. They don't do that much damage comparatively to like other weapons. We're gonna go over to base camp. The reason that we use this is because it allows us to do a very specific glitch that abuses what I like to call the backwards long jump effect, where we have uncapped speed. Plucky, how do we have uncapped backward speed?
So this is one of those games where the developers did not really account for moving backwards at incredibly fast speeds, because normally you shouldn't be able to. You can boost yourself with your gunshot to get a little bit of speed backwards, but it's normally only for a little bit because your gun has a cooldown. The thing about saw blades is that they have no cooldown. You can just spam them as fast as you can click. So we're about to see what effects that leads to. You can probably imagine it.
There we go, perfect.
We have clipped into the next area without having to do all of the quests that would normally allow us to get into this area.
True. So this little lip right here is only activated once the game sees that you've like completed Allendale, but the actual area next to Allendale is still there, and so you can just clip through screens like that by spamming. Well, another reason why it's actually really useful to use keyboard and mouse is because keyboard and mouse has like two keys for you to. Oh my goodness, what is this movement that I'm doing here? Keyboard and mouse has two keys for you to shoot your weapon. It's like left click and also K. And so if you spam both of those in like quick succession, you can just use a lot of saw blades, and as Lucky said, there's no cooldown for them. And so you can just gain a lot of backward speed really, really quickly, which is the way that glitch is like possible. And it's incredibly easier to do on the keyboard. I've never really tried it on keyboard. I don't really know. I mean, if you could theoretically like just spam one key, it should still work. But I don't know how fast you'd exactly need to do that.
Depends on your mash speed, I guess, but keyboard and mouse is generally the safer bet because mashing 2 buttons is a lot easier than mashing 1.
Exactly. Here is a scene where this couple is traumatizing their child by just letting him watch animals kill each other. I'm gonna grab this. I don't think I'll need the hawk's legs, but it can be useful for money later, at least. So this area, Mount Sajeka, is actually like a pretty difficult area because it's a lot of really cool movement. I feel like of all the movement in this game with the Gunbrella, Mount Sajeka is actually some of like the coolest ones. But it's also home to a lot of enemies in a lot of different areas with like open pits that if you fall down, you have to start the whole room all over again. And also the vultures. The vultures are really annoying in my opinion. I think they're like my least favorite enemy in this game, only because like their movement is a little bit unpredictable. I don't like that. Their movement is a little bit unpredictable, and so it's just really weird to deal with them sometimes. But right here, I'm actually going to save, and this time I'm going to save in a bed. And every time that you save in a bed, you get 2 extra hearts added to your total. They are temporary hearts, so like you can't keep them. But I'm just gonna save here, just because if I fail this for whatever reason, that's just run over. I'm not gonna be able to like do it again. And so just for safe measure, you don't want this to fail. So perfect.
With saw blades to spare, even.
Exactly. And so just being able to do that, I legitimately, I think that was like the perfect way to do that. And so you can
just spam 18 blades.
Yeah, really? Only 18? Wow.
I think that was 18, which is nuts.
That is. Oh yeah, I have 7 blades. My God, my goodness, that's really cool. And so just being able to do that, we'll be able to clip you through literally anything in this game. Like, I'm not even joking. If you have a full 49 saw blades, you can clip through anything in this game. Not even exaggerating. Mm-hmm. And so yeah. So now we're at the end of the Mount Sajeka level. It was again one of my favorite parts of the game in terms of movement. I think it's amazing. It's also really difficult. And so admittedly, a lot of my runs have died there. And so thankfully that went really well. And now we're about at the halfway point of the game, where we have discovered who kidnapped our child. It is this guy named Max. Usually you would learn this through a lot of lore that you got dropped in Allendale, but we skipped all of Allendale, so you just get the TLDR from us right now. And so Max is here. He has our child in his hands. He's planning this like perfect city named Avalon that's going to come in handy later in the run. And right now, he's working with like the police force and a lot of really bad people in order to make this perfect city Avalon and kidnap our daughter in the process.
Oh, by the way, the police just kidnap kids in this game, just for fun.
Yeah, just for fun, you know. just police things. Don't worry, all police officers will be dead by the end of this run. Right? And so unfortunately, now that we're in this section, the good news is that we get to stay in this really cool aspect ratio. That's just really dramatic. I was just when the black bars appeared when the cutscenes began in my casual playthrough, and I'm just like, why are they staying? Why are we still in this aspect ratio? But the unfortunate part about that is that we do need to sit through a lot of cutscene. Thankfully, we were able to cover about 2 minutes of cutscene without talking, but there's still about 2 minutes left. If Kasaki wants to say some more words for us, please.
Sure thing, can do. Alright, well, just let everyone know that if you're looking to donate, make sure to type !donate in the chat to get the link to our Tiltify page where you can make that direct donation. We have a lot of amazing incentives, and just keep in mind that you can select both a target and a poll. You do not have to pick one or the other. So make sure that you're putting your donations towards those incentives so we can have even more cool stuff throughout the runs.
Thank you so much. If there's more you want to say, this goes on for quite some time.
Like, straight up, there's another 2 minutes here.
Alright, yeah. Let's see. Alright, well, in case you didn't know, on top of No Glitches Allowed, several members of No Glitches Allowed actually work on the staff for Complete-a-thon, which is an event that features completionists for 100% categories. This event typically takes place in the summertime, so feel free to follow us at twitch.tv/Complete-a-thon and at Complete-a-thon on Twitter for announcements so that you won't miss when our next Complete-a-thon event takes place. Words are hard. Reading did not go well for me in that instance. Hey, Complete-a-thon is good stuff. Check it out.
Yeah, Complete-a-thon is good stuff. How are you feeling about the game itself, Kasaki? Any good opinions so far?
So this is the second time I've seen it. And the first time was also run by you and commentated by Plucky Star, so this is a lot of deja vu for me. But honestly, it looks like a blast. It really does.
It is a blast. Here we are in this cutscene where this is our loving wife. This is a cutscene that takes place right before the beginning of the game, where we're going to hear a knock on the door as we leave. And unfortunately, that is in fact Max here to kill our wife and kidnap our child, and also burn down our house. And so that's a wonderful flashback here that we're going to be. That's just motivation to keep on with the story. But now, surprise, surprise, it is 3 years later.
Yeah, we got arrested, thrown in jail, time skip. Woohoo.
Yeah. The moment that it saves, we're actually going to quit the title because later, like once you finish the first section of the jail, of the prison sequence, it's been known to just stay on a black screen when you go into the minecart section. And so the way that you manage that is just by quitting the title after it saves and then reloading the game.
Yeah, so Ozmourn said minecart section, by the way.
Yeah. So right here is Eli, Hogue, and I think her name is Claire. I don't think that that's the right name.
I don't know I actually don't remember what her name is still.
I forget what her name is. I'm going to say that it's Claire, even though I think that's wrong.
Technical monster.
Technical monster. Wow. So now there's a technical monster in the prison. We're also in an underground prison where we're forced to be miners and stuff like that. It's a whole story. Eli is going to get kidnapped by the tentacle monster, and somehow Hogue is going to be strong enough to save him. This should have definitely killed Eli, but it just didn't. And so now Claire here, for some reason, has dynamite in her cell. We don't know how she got it. I don't ask questions. I'm just concerned. I'll get a little bit of money out of it, though. Look at that. So we're going to follow Claire. This entire prison sequence is in a few different sections. And the first section, we are unfortunately stripped of all of our abilities. We do not have our Gunbrella, nor do we have our climbing gear, which means that we cannot wall jump and we cannot do in combat. Literally, the only thing we can do is move and jump. Plucky, what else can we say about this fun section here?
So the mines is, I would say, pretty infamous. It's probably one of the harder sections of the game, if not the hardest for some runners. Which is mainly due to this early part where you are just completely without any abilities to speak of, and there's lots of enemies up ahead that can hurt us. So all we really have to rely on is our dodging skills, which, when we're going fast, is not going to be enough. We are going to take a bit of damage. Thankfully, in a marathon run like this, Ozmourn did get that safety save earlier, so we have a bit of extra health to play with, which you wouldn't really in a normal run. So that's going to be helpful for sure. But this section is not really going to pick up until we have the Gunbrella back. Unfortunately,
thankfully, it's not very long. It's only like a minute before we have to get the umbrella back. And so that first section, as you can see, all those turrets, like, we're able to open up those boxes for us. Is down to this section. The patterns of their attacks are kind of RNG based. It's because it's not always consistent, and so thankfully they were pretty helpful to us right now. Right here, Claire is going to ask us a question. She says, would you like to steal crude from the mines? Crude is the mineral that they've all been mining as they're imprisoned here. And so Claire's asking, do you want to steal some so we can sell it later? Typically, you would want to say yes in an 90% run, because you can sell that for money later, and of course money will be able to get you more saw blades, because saw blades run the world in the speed run. And so but there is one caveat to that, and is that if you say yes, oh my god, do I go back for that?
No, that's so worth it. That's so worth it.
It's so worth it. I have to go back to that. I'm just like, and then I didn't even have to kill him for that. That was just another enemy doing that for me. Thank goodness. Oh, you killed the Gorehound. Thank goodness.
That grenade is actually, if that doesn't hit the Gorehound like it did, it's liable to hit you on the way out. So that's lucky.
Yeah, that's really lucky. We're gonna climb up here, and we're going to grab our Gunbrella, and a little bit of a visual bug here as we shoot our Gunbrella backwards. But as I said, if you collect the crude and sell it later, you do in fact kill Hogue. Hogue.
Spoilers.
Yeah, right. So the explanation for it story-wise is that since you spent time mining the crude, the tentacle monster was able to have enough time to grab and kill Hogue. And so that is the price we have to pay for speed. If you're running the all hearts category, which is the closest thing to a completionist category that we have, you don't have to kill Hogue. As a matter of fact, you cannot kill Hogue, because Hogue, saving Hogue later will give you another heart piece. But in the any percent run, we just care about money. So unfortunately, Hogue needs to die for us to go fast.
Rip Hogue. You will probably be missed.
Oh, he's hurt. So in this next section, when you're going up here, the tentacle monster is going to be a little bit more of a threat later, but the game kind of makes you think, kind of gives you a bit of an option here, a bit of a consequence for like mining the Hogue, mining the crude, and that these rates appear, or at least like the game makes you think that there's a consequence, because it's like in this room there doesn't appear a wraith in if you don't collect the crude, but like in every room after it does, so like it doesn't really matter in this case, aside from like just saving Hogue later. Oh my god, a Gorehound help, look at that.
Either way, this can be a tough section because of how often the wraiths can attack you while you're platforming.
Yeah, and the stalagmites, the stalactites on the... Is it stalagmites or is it stalactites for if it's on the ceiling?
I always no idea.
I know that there's a difference, and it was explained to me at some point. Surely someone in chat must know. But thankfully we're getting a lot of money from all of these boxes, so we're going to be using that for later. So these rates are a little bit tricky and a little bit inconvenient for a lot of us, especially because of all the spikes from the ceiling falling down. So we're going to just spam through some more text here. This is the scene where it is revealed that Hogue is dead. And he will be missed, but it was a sacrifice for the greater good of speed. And so Eli is actually really upset with Claire right now. And Claire, like, kind of just, like, doesn't realize how bad what she just did was until Eli is, like, really upset with her. But now that we're past here, we're going into another really interesting section. Probably, like, one of the funnest sections casually, and still a really fun section in the speedrun, and that is the minecart section. And what exactly is the minecart section, Lucky?
In the minecart section, it is pretty similar to minecart sections you might be familiar with in other games, except we can do this burst of speed forward using our Gunbrella, which we are going to be doing literally constantly because it's faster. Who would have thunk? This section can be pretty difficult, mainly because the fact that you're going so fast, and like you just saw, enemies like the tentacles can appear very close to each other. And when you're going this fast, you have to really be careful of your Gunbrella's cooldown in order to make sure you can get rid of the enemies and not take too much damage, especially because we only have 2 hearts left at the moment. There's also some interesting shenanigans where if you dash too early when transitioning, you can clip through the ground. Don't think that's intended. But it's just a lot of factors that make this a pretty tricky section, but a really fun one nonetheless.
True. However, I will say if at any point I lose a heart and I go to the next section, I almost will always like die on purpose by doing exactly what Plucky just said, like clipping through the floor, because like that's just easier for me to be like less worried about like, you know, going through a whole section and not going through like a whole section and not having to worry about whether or not I'm gonna die. So I'm just gonna do that right now, like right here.
Yeah. And so, every section is a checkpoint, as you can see. We just started back at the same section.
So it's just a lot easier for me, and it loses a little bit of time, but I'm just like, I don't trust myself to be perfect for the rest of this run, for the rest of the minecart section, so I'm just gonna die so I don't have to be perfect. And we lost 2 hearts. I'm going to do a bit of a safety save here on this bench just so we can go into the mines boss with full health. And so we're going to be doing a little bit more cutscene stuff here, cutscene shenanigans, as we talk to Claire and Eli. And I'm also going to go into another room where I'm going to be collecting a mystery steak. What is it made of? I have no idea.
No one does.
No one does, exactly. And I'm also going to be collecting a bandage. As I said earlier, if everything goes right, we don't need these items and we can just sell them for later, but I always grab them for safety just in case. Especially the mystery steak. The mystery steak goes for a lot of money.
100 coins, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's just a lot of money that you're going to be getting. You don't necessarily need it in an 80% run because the crude is more than enough. But typically, it's just a lot safer. You don't want to spam through this particular piece of text too quickly, because if you do, you'll shoot your Gunbrella before the tentacle can actually like go up, and then like since it's in the middle of a cutscene, like you're gonna get blocked by the tentacle, and it's just gonna like waste like a solid like 30 seconds because the game waits for Murray to void out before respawning him, and for some reason when that happens in that specific cutscene, it takes forever to do. So you don't want to spam through that specific piece of text too quickly to avoid that happening. But now we're in the boss of the mines. Plucky, what exactly are we dealing with here?
The tentacle monster in question, mainly. A giant centipede with tentacles for limbs. This is a pretty heavily cycle-based boss, so there isn't much we can do to speed it up except for shooting the eye as fast as possible. And then he has these segments where the eye is no longer shootable, we just have to dodge his attacks. So yeah, we are going to be spending a bit more time in this fight than we like, because the boss is just gonna go invincible for certain periods of time, and spam attacks. Not much else to say, although it is funny that we do get to just kind of ride the bottom of the screen without voiding out in this fight.
True. This enemy has 2 attacks, those little bubbles that we just saw him produce, and then the bees. He'll just like switch between those 2 attacks until you kill him. This particular attack is difficult just because you have to like avoid all these bursts that the bubbles make. But once you go to the second attack of the bubbles, you should just be able to kill him immediately like that. And Plucky, has anyone tested out if rifle rounds kill this boss faster? Because theoretically,
has anyone
like,
tested that out?
I'm asking. I don't know, because like theoretically,
I don't know either. Genuinely,
because like here's the thing. An interesting thing about that boss is that it does not matter what weapon you use. If you use a grenade, it does the exact same amount of damage as a regular shotgun.
It's a pretty scripted fight.
It's a really scripted fight, and I do want to know, like, could you because since the rifle rounds like just do more like hits per second, would it like kill that boss faster? I don't think it'd be faster in a speed run because you have to go out of your way to therefore buy the rifle rounds. But I guess theoretically, if you had enough money, you could do that all in Allendale. But I don't know, because that's banking on a lot of stuff, and you also that will make you have less money for later for all the saw blades you need to buy for endgame, and so I think in a perfect world where like every enemy dropped like the most expensive drop and like every single enemy just gave you 25 plus coins, I think you could theoretically do that, but I'm not totally sure.
Still, sounds like it might be worth looking into very soon.
I definitely do think it's worth looking into. Practically, I'm not sure if it'll be viable unless you're just really, really lucky with drops. But here is the priest. As you can see, he used to be a priest, and now he's a priest that kills rates. He has a weapon called the Holy Shells, and if we were doing all hearts, we'd have to go get that right now. But unfortunately, we're not doing that. We're just doing any percent, so we don't need the Holy Shells. The game kind of makes you think that you need to get the Holy Shells to progress, but you don't. You can just you can just leave.
You can completely ignore the priest's the priest's request for you to follow him into his little chapel and just leave.
Yes, exactly. Once again, we're going to go to Allendale, and surprise, surprise, we're going to be grabbing more saw blades because there's another section here that we're going to be skipping entirely. We're going to be skipping a lot of the game right now with saw blades. We're going to sell everything that we have. I don't have any more.
This upcoming section of the run has the most saw blade skips by far.
And I still have $411. My goodness, that's wild.
Ooh.
Yeah, I can be pretty reckless with drops in this next section just because like that's probably enough money to cover me for the rest of the game, honestly. And so we're gonna go down here, and right here there's a whole like Allendale like post like the prison. After the prison, it's just a whole bunch of cutscene. There's not a lot of gameplay, and we're gonna skip all of that by once again clipping through this door with saw blades by just doing that. And so now we're going to be going over to the processing plant because the processing plant is where the game wants us to go in order to get a shipping label for a container that we're going to be shipped in to go to Avalon. Again, that's all explained in a bunch of cutscenes that we just skipped, but thankfully we don't need to do any of that. And the first part of the processing plant, or at least the part for the processing plant between that and Allendale, is the train sequence. Plucky, what is the train sequence?
In the train sequence, it's a sequence where we're on a train. The cult is here. They're still alive after all these years, even though we raided their hideout and murdered most of them. They're still kicking around. This guy's gonna make a bunch of puns at us. And then we're gonna have to cross the train, which is gonna have a lot of these sorcerer guys that we talked about earlier, except they're much more of a threat here because the rooms on the train are very lengthy, and if we miss a single sorcerer, he is most likely going to fire a energy ball at us that will track us to the ends of the earth.
Yeah, I'm not kidding when I say those energy balls. They will home at you really, really quickly, and they will not rest until you are dead. I think that some of them I think that if they pass you, they also double back on you sometimes. And that's just the most annoying thing. But thankfully, at the end of every screen is a checkpoint. And so it's not too much of a loss if you die, especially if you die like really early on in the screen. But thankfully, we shouldn't have to worry about that on easy mode because usually the sorcerers will die on a first hit in easy mode. On normal mode, it usually takes 2 hits. It takes 2 hits on normal mode if you're far away, like 1 if you're really up close to them. And then on hard mode, it takes way too long to kill any enemy in hard mode. And the enemies in hard mode attack really fast.
Oh, here's a boss fight, by the way.
Yeah, here's a boss fight. Let's try and get the quick kill. This is Mama. We'll see if she's nice to us. All right.
Yeah, quick kill.
That's the quick kill. In all seriousness though, the game doesn't let you fight Mama because Mama just kills herself. Because she just sees that she doesn't see the wall behind her and just gets splatted. Although it kind of would have been cool to fight Mama. I do want to see what she would have had to offer.
Too bad. She dies in a cutscene.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so now we're in the processing plant. We're going to talk to this guy. And like most places, the saw blades are going to be really, really important to us in the processing plant. Ooh.
I think there are maybe there's at least 4 skips in the processing plant that will use saw blades, which is normally that would be too many saw blades for us, and we wouldn't have enough. But there's a very conveniently placed shop about like a third of the way through this processing plant.
Yeah, there's a shop in this area, and I don't know why it's there. But it's really convenient that it is.
Here comes the first skip.
Yeah, so
normally in the processing plant, you would have to. The objective is to progress by turning on certain certain aspects, like certain machines in the factory, like you have to turn on, here's the shop, by the way. You'd have to turn on first the conveyor belts, then the pulley system, and then the crushers. We get to skip turning on both the conveyor belts and the pulleys by using saw blades. Here we're going to use saw blades to fly.
Yeah, we don't need to like really spam saw blades on that particular section, just because like it's just a lot less saw blades that we're going to need to use. And you're also, I'm going to use a bandage because I'm afraid. So right here, we're actually going to be going out of our way to kill a lot of enemies in the processing plant because they drop really useful stuff. Some enemies will drop sticky bombs. Sticky bombs are going to be used for the final boss of the whole game. And then there are also enemies that drop flamethrower fuel, and flamethrower fuel is going to be useful for the boss, the second boss of the processing plant itself. So this enemy right here is going to drop us flamethrower fuel. We want to go out of our way to get as much as we can, because the quick kill with like the final boss the quick kill with both the final boss and the boss of the processing plant are really cool to look at. Right here, as you can see, all of these hooks right here, they're all supposed to be moving, but thankfully, the processing plant isn't navigatable without them moving along these chains. They're within just enough distance from each other where they're not really necessary to go throughout the processing plant.
It's very lucky that we are able to skip turning on the pulleys the way we are, considering they actually do stay deactivated for the entire thing if you manage to do that.
Which is really strange because I wouldn't think that the game actually checks for that. I would think that the game, like every area past the hooks would still be active, and this like I don't know if that's
because it's normally required to turn on the pulleys and the conveyors to progress.
It's really weird. This is a forced combat room. Hopefully these enemies are going to be nice to us. Right, and then the sniper here. And then we can just talk to this guy. We do need to activate the hydraulic presses. That's the only one that we actively need to activate. There's a bajillion hydraulic presses in the areas next to us, and we alas do not have an unlimited supply of saw blades to put through all of them. And so we do need to activate. That's the only one that we're going to go out of our way to activate because it is in fact required. And so some more forced combat in this room. Thankfully, the enemies were pretty nice to us. Here is a room with the hydraulic press. You could... Nope.
Not quite fast enough. Oh, no. Slipped up a little bit.
It's because, like, when you activate your umbrella next to that line there... Like,
it snaps you onto it.
Yeah, it snaps you onto it, which is annoying. I know Plucky told me that it is theoretically possible to get through that without the hydraulic press like crushing you or blocking you, but I'm alas not fast enough.
I have done it once and it was not even in a successful run, unfortunately.
Yes. Thankfully we got that fast cycle over there with the hydraulic press leading us upwards. Kill this guy. The second half with the hydraulic presses isn't that bad. As you can see, but like the conveyor belt that we're on right now, all these hooks, it actually ends up being a lot easier to navigate a few places because a lot of the hazards that you would normally have to deal with in this area are just turned off completely. And so you win some, you lose some when it comes to not having to activate a lot of these areas. Here we go. And up here, I guess there's just a few more rooms before we finish the processing plant. And we're gonna actively kill more enemies just so we can get all their drops. Kasaki, is there anything you want to say real quick before we get to the bosses?
Sure thing. I just want to remind everyone that No Holidays Love 2023 is raising money for Go Rescue, a dog shelter in Norfolk, Virginia. Go Rescue works to provide a haven for homeless dogs, giving them the time, care, and love that they need to find not just any home, but the right home for them.
Kasaki. Okay, now that we've gotten the shipping label that we needed, we're going to save right here because there is a specific boss gift that we're going to be doing, and I just want to save there in case I mess it up. And so with the saw blades, we saw that we use a little bit of them to skip having to activate the hooks and also having to activate the conveyors, which also deactivates a conveyor that's in this very boss, which makes this part a lot easier. But now we're going to just use the saw blades to do exactly what you think and clip through this area. and before they actually attack us.
Ozmourn said we'd be fighting bosses, plural. No. No.
Yes. We're just gonna skip one boss, and then we're gonna actually fight this one. But honestly, the word "fight" is very arguable. If we get the fast kill here, and what exactly is the quick kill for this boss?
The quick kill is essentially stun locking this guy with the flamethrower ammo, because normally this guy's gonna move around a lot. We don't want him to move around a lot, like that mainly. But as long as we're keeping the flamethrower stream constantly on him, he can't move like that. He just can't move.
Yeah,
he can't escape the flamethrower stream. So we can just melt his health bar. Doing that optimally, if you do that optimally, you actually don't have to like press the movement directions at all.
You don't. No joke. You can kill him in 3 seconds. From the moment that he stops talking, you can kill him in 3 seconds with those flamethrowers because it just stun locks him immediately.
Yeah, pretty hard because you need to keep your aim on a precise spot, and that spot moves.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. So if you're not able to stun lock him immediately, it's something that you'll have to deal with. But thankfully, we got the second opportunity that we had to stun lock him, and we were able to do it. So now we're back in Allendale. Once again, Allendale is just used to transition from one area to the next, and we're going to reload on saw blades. We only really need saw blades for one more thing, so we don't need to like max out, but I don't feel like doing the math. So we're just going to max out anyway. And we don't need to like sell anything else, so we're just gonna buy those, and then we're gonna talk to Marl here. Marl is a character that is important to the plot, but not important to the speedrun.
She's normally a major character that appears like multiple times in the story, but we skipped all of those parts. Exactly.
So this is technically the first time that we're seeing Marl here, and so she was a person that we're supposed to be our enemy / our friend throughout the entire run. There was supposed to be like a whole character arc with her, but instead she is just here to ship us off to Avalon using the shipping label that we got from the processing plant. And so this is going to be another small cutscene that we can use to get to Avalon. And so Kasaki, if there's more stuff you want to say, now is a pretty ideal time.
All right, sure thing. I just want to remind everyone once again that if you're going to donate, you can just put !donate into the chat. You'll get a link right to it. Also, if you don't want to use the link for whatever reason, but during our break screens, there's a QR code that you can scan. Just make sure that when you put those donations in, that you're selecting a poll and a target, so that we can make sure that we get more cool things in the marathon.
You can say one. You can say a little bit more, like one more blurb if you need to, just because this cutscene is a little lengthy.
All right. Well, the other thing I want to say is that I know I said before, but this game seems amazing. And I just want to say thank you to Oz, because I've now seen this twice, and it is a blast, and thank you for showing this to us.
Of course. If you want to buy it, chat, it is on Steam. I don't think it's on GOG or Epic Games. It's just exclusively on Steam right now. And if you're a console player, it is on Nintendo Switch. Which, now that I think about it, I should probably do a console split leaderboard. We haven't done that yet, because I don't think, but no one has tried to speedrun it on console, which is why I haven't done it. And so, yeah, if you want to speedrun this on console or on Steam, let us know. We'll gladly split leaderboards and have the console folks with their own leaderboards here. It is just on Switch though. It is not on PlayStation consoles or Xbox consoles as of yet. I don't know if the devs have planned to put those on those consoles. I would hope so, but I'm not the dev, so. And now we're in Avalon. Plucky, what exactly is Avalon all about?
Yeah, Avalon is the fabled perfect paradise city that that Max was talking about earlier, aka a total horrible dystopia disguised as a paradise. But that's not important to us right now. What's important is going fast, which sadly we don't get to do much in this section because it's another long Gunbrella-less section with a lot of cutscenes. However, as soon as we do get the Gunbrella back, it'll be right back to the action. But for now, we just got to go through a bunch of dialogue. This guy's brother is very suspicious of what's going on in Avalon. So we have to pose as one of the cops in question to sort of talk to him and try to get him to try to get him to talk about what he's feeling, I guess. So we have to follow him into the secret garden.
Yes, the wonderful secret garden. This is like the last. I forgot to talk to the other. I do this all the time. I did this in my PB. I like, this is the one thing that I always forget to do, and it's annoying because it loses like a solid 20 seconds from your run.
I don't blame you. It's so easy to forget that you have to talk to this guy again afterward.
There. Now we're gonna go to the area that I was just in. I always forget to do that. I need to put it in like that in a sticky note. Just put it on my monitor when I do runs. I really do. And so we're gonna go through here, and now we're gonna talk to these brothers again in this hidden bush area, where this guy with a lab coat, he's gonna give us his ID card, so we can go over to the laboratory down in the Avalon Hotel that we were just in. And so they think that we're a cop. By the way, a thing that we like kind of glossed over when it came to like the plot is that everyone thinks that we're a cop because we have the Gunbrella, but we're not a cop, because usually Gunbrellas are exclusively supposed to be given to police and law enforcement. Plucky, I heard you might want to have said something there. Did I interrupt you?
No, sorry, I was not saying anything.
Oh, no worries, you're good. This is the last cutscene here that we're going to be spamming through, and then a small cutscene before we like get into the boss. But there's two major bosses in Avalon, where you might have seen in an earlier cutscene that there's actually two police officers in this game. The first one we killed. The second one we're about to kill, and so it's going to be that boss, which is actually a really, really precise boss. And then the second boss is the final boss, the Max, that we're going to be fighting. We're going to be led down over to the laboratories, and everyone's going to like pretend that they don't know why we're here. Why? No, I did not mean to grab the button again. Just let me leave. That's what I get for spamming E, because E is also the button to interact with things, so it's annoying. I'm going to save here just so I can load up on health, because I don't trust myself with only 3 hearts here. So yeah.
Better that happen than you have to go all the way back up the elevator.
It's true. Theoretically, if I do this perfectly, which I have done before, you should not lose any health in this run, or in this boss fight. But, you know, if on the off chance that I end up getting his like longer attack, that will throw me off entirely, and I will probably die. And so I'm just gonna make sure I have full health for it. And so now, what did you say the name of this boss was?
This is Captain Crash. This boss, as Oz said, is going to be very focused on precise positioning, because he has multiple attacks that he can throw at us, all of which are position dependent heavily. So essentially, we're going to be trying to reflect his own attacks back at him, sneak in as many shots as we can, while keeping our position in such a way that he will not perform his slowest attack.
Yeah, so his like fast attack, when you're really close to him, he'll just like shoot above you, and his second attack, he'll shoot a lot of bullets at you, and then the third attack, I think he drops bombs from the ceiling, which is the annoying part. So we're just going to hope that he does the second attack the whole time and keep a not too close but not too far position away from him, the Goldilocks spot.
Yeah. So if you're far away like that's the shooting attack he will do, and then he'll jump up and shoot more bullets at you. So essentially, whenever he's on the ground like that, the idea is to be as far away as possible, then charge close to him, so he will do the jumping attack instead of the bomb dropping attack, which is ridiculously slow.
You want to just shoot him twice, and then as you're doing the second shot, back away, so that he can have enough distance from him to just kill him like that. If you mess up, like the attack that he does when you are too close to him is significantly easier to recover from than the attack that he does when you are too far away from him. Specifically because the attack that he does when he's like close to you is just like it's just the second half of this attack. It is just going above you and shooting you like that. And so you know what to expect, and you know how to recover from that. The long attack, I don't know how to recover from. It's really annoying. This is an almost perfect, like, I'm getting all of the cycles right, but I'm not shooting him exactly perfectly every time that I can between attacks.
That was still near perfect.
That was still near perfect. Thankfully, he did the exact same attack every single time. And so that only takes about a minute to kill him, which is really long for what we call a quick kill in this game, but still.
Crash is a bulky boss.
He is. We're gonna kill all these enemies, and these are like the most annoying, some of the most annoying enemies in this game, only because like they're really quick on you and they shoot really quickly as well. They drop saw blades, which typically isn't useful unless you like are low on saw blades for whatever reason. But now here's the elevator sequence. But unfortunately, all my homies hate the elevator sequence, so we're just gonna clip through that. Now we don't have to do the elevator sequence.
I'd say it's about 30 seconds, give or take.
A strat that the world record holder Ebendar does that I don't is that he uses the saw blades to gain momentum in places where you don't necessarily need to clip through anything, like through these long hallways. He just uses them to like just traverse faster. I am not skilled enough at this game to do that without dying. So we do one last safety save. This is the final safety save of the game, because after this it is the final boss. Well, a small cutscene and then the final boss, of course, because we only need that final showdown cutscene. But before the boss itself, I'm actually going to go out of my way to grab a few things. In this room right here, it is 2 grenades. One behind this turret and one in front of it on the other side of the room. Like this wall. Deal with a few more enemies. Ideally, we shouldn't have to like actually attack any of them. And then on the other side of this wall, after this cutscene, on the left side of the room next to the door is another grenade. We're gonna get 3 of those grenades so we can kill the final boss Max faster. So right here, he's just like, he's with our, as you can see, our daughter is 3 years older, like a full child that can walk and talk. And unfortunately, we miss all the beautiful parts of her childhood, all of her firsts. But here we are trying to save her, and Max is just like, I've been raising her, like she's my daughter for all she knows. I'm her father. And he's like, what are you gonna do? Shoot me in front of your daughter? That's exactly what we do. Like, we're gonna shoot him in front of our daughter.
Perfect timing on that commentary.
All right, we have no shame. We're gonna shoot him right then and there. We are a man of our word, and we are not here to play around. All right, final boss time. Max is going to give a dramatic monologue, and he is going to die right then and there. But unfortunately, the game just doesn't end there. We have to fight the boss, and a bunch of demons are going to come and possess Max and turn him into this giant monster. Most of the community calls him Max. I think his name is supposed to be Daddy, because like there's the other bosses named like Baby, Mama, and also a boss that we didn't see called Nephew. And before you get attacked him, he says, come to Daddy. So I'm pretty sure his name canonically is supposed to be called Daddy. It just makes more sense to me, but usually we just refer to him as Max for the sake of brevity. But there is a nice quick kill. But first, we have to see him turn into this monster. Yeah. But now there's a nice quick kill, and time is going to come up really soon. So, Plucky, explain what the quick kill is.
Yeah. So the quick kill is going to involve using those sticky bombs we got back in the processing plant to just do as much damage as possible. Sticky bombs do a lot of damage. We can stick as many of them to him as we want, and they activate when we deploy the Gunbrella. Also, we're going to be using the grenades we picked up earlier for even more damage at the start of the fight. Grenades do the most, to my knowledge, the most damage in a single hit of any weapon in the game. Time comes as soon as the boss is dead. As soon as Max's health hits 0.
Is that going to be enough? Yeah, time. That's good. Time. I was afraid that wasn't going to be enough because one of the grenades missed, surprisingly. But yeah, that's time. That's the end of the run. So yeah, that is Gunbrella 80%. And so I highly recommend checking this game out if you're interested in this kind of run where it's like a 2D action game. Gunbrella is pretty much like one of the funnest like ways that I've branched out of my speedrunning and not confining myself to the specific genre of like first-person puzzle games. And so this has just been a huge pleasure to be a part of this community, this small but dedicated community to this game. We have another category, the All Hearts category, one that I'm proud to say that I completely routed from scratch by myself. And so if you want to run that more of a completionist side, we also have that. Again, this is on Nintendo Switch and also on Steam, so we can accommodate for console and PC alike. And in this final cutscene, unfortunately, I have some bad news. We do not survive. But our daughter goes off and uses the umbrella as if she knows how to use it. She just like launches herself off. but she finds safety, and we unfortunately do not get to see the rest of her life. Or at least, at the very least, in this ending, we don't. There is another ending to this game. And I'm not going to spoil how to get it, because you should play this game for yourself and find out.
Yeah, there's so much that we didn't show in this run. Like, you might be thinking, oh, I've seen the game in a speed run. I probably don't have to play this game on my own anymore. No, you should anyway, because there's so much we missed. We skipped all of the dialogue, and it's a very heavy, gripping story, in my opinion. One of the best stories in a video game I've played, genuinely. And there's lots of cool gameplay sequences we didn't show either, like the scrapyard, for instance, which is one of the cooler sections in the game. So, yeah, I would highly recommend giving this game a try. Regardless, it's super cheap for what it is, and there's lots more to explore.
Yeah, it's $15 on Steam, which is really, it's like a huge bang for its buck. And so I highly recommend checking it out. It's just a lot of fun, and one of the best indie games, probably, definitely one of the best indie games that I've played this year, and one of the best adventure games that I've played in quite a while. So huge shout outs to Doinksoft and all the developers there who are so supportive of the speedrunning community and everything that we do. Plucky Stars, or any shout outs you want to make before we head out?
Yeah, I also would like to shout out Doinksoft for creating some of Devolver's best games, if you ask me. Gato Roboto, and then this game, this beautiful, wonderful game. And I also, of course, want to shout out the Gunbrella speedrunning community for just all that we've accomplished in just these past short, not even 3 months. It's been so wonderful to be part of a growing speedrunning community. And if you want to get into this game, you can join in on that fun yourself.
Yes. All right. Well, and my name is Ozmourn. You can follow me on Twitch, although I only really stream once in a blue moon. Although I'm usually around in other marathons. I have 2 runs at Power Up with Pride next week, and I have 2 runs at Awesome Games Done Quick in January. And I'm also going to be there in person if you want to meet me. And so that's going to be a lot of fun. And again, just thank you so much to Plucky for being here. Thank you so much to Doinksoft for making an amazing game. And thank you so much to those in the games committee for NoHA is Allowed for choosing this run. Because it's definitely been my most recent passion project. And so I'm super excited to show it off to folks. And that's all from me. Thank you so much to the viewers for watching, and good luck to Slow the Demon for the Ocarina of Time randomizer that will close out tonight. But yeah, that's all from me. Hope y'all have a wonderful night. Enjoy the rest of the marathon. Bye.
Yeah, thank you both so much. We're gonna go to just a quick break, and then we'll get everything set up for the next round. Alright, that was an amazing run from Ozmourn. This is unfortunately the end of my time with all of you, so I just want to say that it's been a delight. I hope you all had a great time, and I hope you all remember to stretch, hydrate, and take care of yourselves. But I'm going to hand things over to George, and he's going to take things over and finish out the night for us.
Happy time zone, everyone, for the second time today. Well, maybe not today, given that it is already a sweet 4:55 a.m. here from Germany. I'm happy to still be hosting the OOT run. For those who may have catched the kind of the middle of the stream today, we did have to move the run all the way to the end of today, but I'm really glad I end up getting to host it. Okay, enough time randomizer, and you all did manage to meet that incentive. I just rolled the seed for Slower just a couple minutes ago. This is gonna be a train wreck. I'm looking forward to it. But I do want to, of course, remind all of you, we're here We're here with NoHA Salon 2023, raising money for Go Rescue Pet Adoption Center. It's I've said this so many times, with so many different kinds of blurbs and everything, but just again, because this is such an amazing charity, Go Rescue, a dog shelter no-kill dog shelter in Norfolk, Virginia, founded by Georgia Obanos, who lost her home and in 2011, and basically her only focus became to prevent her family dogs from going towards animal control. And she was like, you know what, I'm gonna buy I think she bought an entire damn house. I was like, I'm gonna make a dog shelter, I'm gonna make it work, and she made it work. Tons of cool stories that we learned over the past, over like how to run a dog shelter from her in like previous interviews. And I'm saying this because tomorrow we will have an interview with her, with Georgia Obanos, and I'm really, really, really looking forward to that. It'll be done by Metroid Prime, so if you have any questions for that interview, from chat especially, you all should, get on the Discord, ask, relay these questions to us, because being able to talk to a charity and seeing where, your money goes, the $430 you've donated already, is it's just so amazing. As we're getting started, or soon getting started with OT Randomizer, I do want to say setup might take just a couple minutes longer. We're still ironing out some technical details with that run. But in the meantime, you all got me on the break screen. I just realized didn't hit a button there. My bad. It was still saying Kasaki there, but now it's saying my name. Woo! But yeah, it's been an amazing day so far in terms of runs, in terms of all of you watching, and let's keep going. I mean, if we keep going, we're gonna hit 1K at the end of the event, so I'm hyped for that. I do also want to remind all of you, if you do want to donate, the link for that obviously below the stream, in chat, everything. You can find it super easily. I'll put it in chat right now, just so you all have an easy to click link. But I do want to say one important thing: the minimum donation till the fight is just $1. And if you think that doesn't matter, you don't know how many times I've donated just a couple dollars from here to here to here, right? It's a really tiny thing, but it counts. With a charity of this size, I want to say Go Rescue does not have a lot of state funding or funding in general, especially since the COVID pandemic hit in 2020. Georgia Obanos has said that during interviews before. Every dollar you all donate counts. It counts so much. Even if you just have $1, I would love to see just like a tiny $1 donation train right now. It'd be really cool. And I promise, even if it's like a super long comment, I will read it out on stream, even if it's just $1. Because every single dollar here counts. I also want to let you all know that we still have a bunch of awesome incentives open. We did meet of course, as I said, we did meet the incentive for me to roll the seed for ORT Randomizer. But we still got a bunch of other incentives coming up. So we have the character choice tomorrow for Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and I will very quickly check the status on that for all of you. That is currently sitting. Wow, that Midwar got a lot of donations while I was off shift. Oh my god. Alright, so Mario is currently sitting in lead for that with $50. Luigi just behind with $40. Daisy with $10 in last place, and Toadette up slightly above Daisy with $28. So, and Peach has gotten noted. Can we get some love for Peach in the chat? Seriously, get some donations in right now for Peach for the Super Mario Bros. Wonder character choice. Do it. Come on. We get like 4 of the 5 option of donations. We can't leave Peach hanging here. Come on. We also still have the incentive for tomorrow that is right after, sorry, not right after, sorry, I was just looking at the incentive sheet where it's right after, but I don't think it's right after the schedule. But for Spin Rhythm XD, we have a showcase where Selkirkmind is going to be playing a map she's never played before. That is called a Sight Read in Rhythm Games. So I am looking extremely forward. If that incentive does get met, y'all should definitely get that met as well. Y'all still have, I think, 22 hours if I look at this right to get that met, so tons of time to get that met. And one last big incentive that we have is the Sonic Generations incentive to play all the day stages. And we need $80 for that. So I think we can get both of these, big incentives met for Spin Rhythm and Sonic Generations. Especially if we get a small donation train going on right now. And if you can't help with donations right now, that's completely fine, right? Everyone has their own, financial ability to give to charities. But if you can't give to charities financially, may I interest you in helping with events that raise for charity? Yes, knowledge is allowed, and all the events that we do have volunteer applications for each event. So if you'd like to help out with our events and help save dogs by virtue of running these events for a charity and making these events possible, then you should definitely check out our Discord. Stay tuned on our news. We host volunteer events before every event. Knowledge is on L11 right around the corner next year, by the way. I believe that'll be in... I don't know when the date is. It's usually in April, around that time. Usually April, maybe May. So in a couple months, if you're on the Discord and you want to help with these events, you should apply to volunteer for these events. Maybe host on the mic if you want, or maybe help out with some of the technical roles. I love my technical roles. For those who don't know, I am more of a technical person. I usually just I step in as a host if needed. But I do love the technical roles. And honestly, if you've never done technical stuff before, you might find it like super like you might be like, oh no, I could never run technical stuff. You can, don't worry. It is actually super easy. And it's so cool being able to control, how the stream sounds and everything. It's amazing. Would heavily recommend volunteering for this amazing event. Alright, this is also a great opportunity to just remind all of you, if you've been watching for some time, if you need a break, if you need to stretch your legs, if you need to hydrate, this is an amazing time. We're just sitting on break getting set up for OG Randomizer, so I'm going to be taking a short break myself here from the mic, so I'll be back in just a couple minutes. Alright everyone, welcome back to No Holidays Allowed 2023. Here's a slightly longer break. We are currently trying to fix a little internet issue on our next runner's end with Slower the Demon. So setup may just take a little bit longer. We will hopefully get that run to you as soon as possible. Just letting all of you know, hey, that gives all of you more time to donate, right? So if you have some time right now, and maybe just like $1 or $2, you can go to nodijusallowed.org/donate or use the link in the chat, or go below the stream while we get set up here for OT Randomizer. Alright everyone, sorry for all the delays with Ocarina of Time Randomizer. We're dealing with a very complicated internet situation, but from having just talked to Slower myself and, you know, talking to a lovely tech behind the scenes, R4Dehedron, we should be almost ready here for OOT Randomizer. I do want to say it won't be the best quality, but we're gonna have to make do with what we get here. Sometimes it be like that. Sometimes internet be like that, but we will at least be seeing OOT Randomizer very shortly. So I'm looking really forward to this. We do get to see my seed. But yeah, while we're getting in the final stages of preparing for that, I do want to remind all of you, we don't just have the incentives open, as I've said earlier. We also have a couple bid wars open for the for day 4 of the marathon. We have a bid war for Nippon Marathon. And actually, I'm not sure. Hold on. Give me just a second. That is actually my bad. Hold on. That is on the incentives sheet, but that's not open yet. I apologize. That is my mistake. That is not open yet. That is opening on day 3. Sorry about that misinformation, but we do have the bid war for the Super Mario Bros. Wonder Run still. And I still see no donations for Peach, SMH. You all need to get that, get your donations in for Peach for that bid war, so Peach isn't sitting at $0. Right? All the other options in that bid war have donations, dude. Come on. We can bring some love for Peach in the chat, can we?